Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about the year 1 anniversary update coming to Co3 next week. Next week's going to be the balance discussion before the launch of the update, so stay tuned for that. I'll be covering that on the channel as well. But this update is going to be all about the first iteration of profile customization from Relic, and also 7 new maps coming to the game. That's 2 maps for co-op versus AI, and 5 maps for multiplayer. Let's jump into the video.
Welcome to our latest developer live stream. It's the 1-year anniversary for Company of Heroes 3, so we'll be covering everything we're doing this month to celebrate. Plus, we've pre-recorded some segments with the team to cover our year 1 anniversary update for PC, which is releasing on February 27th. Along with an overview of our year 1 anniversary update for PC, today we'll also be sharing more info on our next console update, and we'll discuss some of the other exciting stuff happening this month. We won't be covering multiplayer balance changes today, but we'll be doing that live on Twitch on February 27th, where the balance team will discuss some of the adjustments they've made to multiplayer, including changes to some of the existing battle groups and an experimental change to some call-ins. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. There's going to be a lot happening for the game's anniversary in and around our PC update, so I'll try to cover everything that I can. Starting on February 29th, we'll be hosting several Twitch takeovers with some of your favorite members of our official creator squad, right here at twitch.tv/Company of Heroes. We'll have more details on that soon, but keep an eye out for channel takeovers by AE, Alpern, Tightrope, Lady Ritsu, Fitzbro, Greyshot, Momo for Show, and Ironcast. Our team is excited to announce a new community social challenge, what we're calling Frontline Mobilization. We're challenging our community to deploy 12 million units in multiplayer or single player between February 27th and March 5th.
I think we can do that.
If the community comes together to accomplish this goal, we'll be unlocking new legendary profile items for all players.
That's a cool profile.
A legendary profile badge, banner, and player title. This will be the first time we're trying something like this, so show us what you got. For all the details, be sure to check out our social channels in the coming days. Additionally, when the year 1 anniversary update is released on February 27th, 3 new special challenges will be available in-game for that 1 week, in addition to the regular daily and weekly challenges. These include Anniversary Competitor, Anniversary Campaigner, and Anniversary Demolitionist, my favorite. Each of these challenges is worth a whopping 800 merit for a total of 2,400 extra merit to be earned during the year 1 anniversary. Today, we'll also be showcasing some of the best memes and epic gameplay moments from the last year, as submitted by the community. Clips just like this.
Let's see if an artillery shot randomly hits his 2 grins. Please do. Oh, that was so fun.
Clutch.
Oh my god.
It's Vulcan. He's so happy.
Don't miss the community-led map-making contest being organized by GB Pirate. The Co-World Builders 2024 map-making competition is well underway and features 7 player-submitted maps that can be tested right now on the Steam Workshop. Winners of the competition will be crowned in March, so for more details, you can check out GB Pirate's YouTube channel, or, like I said, find the maps on the Steam Workshop right now. The Company of Heroes 3 Resurgence Tournament, organized by AE, kicks into high gear starting March 2nd. This 1v1 tournament with a $4,000 prize pool will feature an exciting 4v4 and 2v2 losers bracket where players can make a resurgence back to the finals.
That's pretty cool.
Catch all the action on AE's Twitch and YouTube channels, with the finals taking place on March 10th. Finally, you're going to want to stick around until the end of today's live stream, as we have a very special segment for you from our friends AE and Tightrope.
Oh no.
Noob nath.
Oh, dude. Why is this luck?
What a shot.
Oh, get Nope. We haven't lost a single point.
No, they're just paratroopers spamming. Look at the units on his roster here.
Ridiculous.
This is gross.
Now I'm joined by David Fan from the Company of Heroes team. David, can you maybe introduce yourself for players that don't know you, and tell us what do you do on Company of Heroes 3?
Hi, everyone. I'm David Fan, executive producer on Company of Heroes 3. I lead the development team and work with John and company to make sure that Co3 is the best possible game.
Okay, well, it's great to have you here today. And later, David, we're going to be talking to the rest of the development team to chat about what's coming in the year 1 anniversary update. But I'm curious if you have any news for us about what might be coming after this update. Is there anything that you can share with players today?
Yeah, so I know our players are really looking forward to having some type of roadmap for the rest of the year, and I totally get that. The thing is, we really want to make sure that we can fully commit and get this roadmap done with accuracy and be 100% able to pull off everything that we're committing to it. So we ask everyone for a bit more patience as we kind of work through that, make sure it's fully buttoned up before we kind of communicate and roll out a roadmap. So thanks for your patience. We'll get it figured out, and we'll kind of update everyone as soon as we have a roadmap ready.
Okay.
Dude, David is all business.
We do have some updates that I can share for what to expect in March.
He's not messing around.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
So first up, for our console players, we have an update for the console coming up that will bring the game up to parity with the 1.4 Steel Shepherd update for PC. So expect that coming soon. And for our PC players, we have a 1.6 PC update happening in March. That's a pretty big update. It's got a lot of cool stuff. Based on all the player feedback that we've received, and thank you for that. It's going to be an update that's packed with content and some features. So examples of that are you're going to expect 3 new community maps in 1.6, and we're going to see some really highly requested features from the past year finally make it into the game. So some highlights include a vote to surrender, a lever penalty finally,
veto,
pathfinding improvements, single player mission selector, and a new accolade system that I think players will really dig.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's really great to hear. I know players have been eager to see some of those things finally make it into the game. And I'm happy to hear that that's happening pretty soon. I'm curious, David, if you can maybe speak to some of the work that the team has done over the last little bit to address the player feedback that we've been seeing in recent months.
Yeah, I think the team has been working super hard. I don't think it's a big secret that we had a bit of a rough launch, rough start to the game. But over the past year, the team has been really working hard to make the game better, addressing player concerns, listening to feedback from you all, and making sure that we can make the game as fun as it can be. And we're starting to see some great results over the past while with our efforts, and we thank everyone for that. But I think if you look at where Co3 was on launch day, versus where it is today, it is really kind of a night and day difference. And all that, again, goes back to the tremendous efforts of the dev team and the feedback that our players have provided us. So we're thankful for everyone all around for helping make Company Heroes 3 better. We think that there's really no better time than now to jump in and try Company Heroes 3, and we appreciate everyone for their support and hope that everyone keeps playing and as we keep working on to improve the game.
Okay, that's great to hear. Well, thanks so much, David, for taking some time to share some news and update us on what's going on with Company of Heroes 3. And I think that's it for now, so we'll just head to the next segment.
All right, thanks, John.
Panzer IV giving supporting fire. 8 looking to get away behind the Panzer Taktischen smoke. Panzer IV offers a big shot to the Vet 2 Chaffee. The other one takes over for him. Meanwhile, we've had an anti-tank grenade damaging the engine of this Panzer IV. He's got no AT gun though. He's recrewed it now. Engineer goes down. Another AT grenade in. Here come the Chaffee to finish the job on the Panzer IV. Kauzak again with a sloppy push.
Yeah, both players here really messing up their pushes. AT gun with purchase almost immediately lost. Oh, gotta be careful with the second Panzer IV, and it goes down.
It does indeed go down. The Chaffee's on slivers of health. One now dies to the 8 with a fortuitous shot. The Vet 3-1 goes forward. He's clearing house right now. There you go. All Wehrmacht vehicles down. All Wehrmacht vehicles are indeed down.
Brutal, man.
Oh, incredible stuff.
A lot of losses there.
Let's talk about console. We know our console edition players have been eagerly anticipating more news on what's coming in the spring update, along with when they can expect it. I'm happy to say that it will be releasing before the end of March, and this will bring the console edition in line with our Steel Shepherd update on PC. While some PC-specific features will not be coming to console due to technical limitations and other considerations, including challenges, the in-game store, and replays, we are bringing so many amazing new features to both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. First up, the Hammer and Shield pack will be granted to all Premium Edition owners, and it will be available for sale for everyone else. This will include the Italian Coastal Battle Group for the Wehrmacht, the Advanced Infantry Battle Group for the US Forces, the Air and Sea Campaign Company for the British Forces in the single-player campaign, and a Premium Cosmetic Pack. In addition to this, we have 5 new maps coming to console: the 1v1 Villa Fiore, the 2v2 Day 101, the 3v3 Benghazi, and the 4v4 maps Monte Cavo and Sus Wetlands. We've also reworked the 1v1 map, Pacino Stalemate, so look forward to that. Along with the new maps, this update will also include a redesign of the main menu and front end, a first-time player experience redesign, the new player profile, art updates and visual improvements, quality of life changes, multiplayer balance changes, and several bug fixes. As I said, you can expect all this to come to the console edition of Company of Heroes 3 by the end of March.
Oh,
Nice.
dude. This game was so brutal.
Nice. Nice. Very nice.
Watch artillery. Big flank.
Yeah, it's carpet.
Yep.
Ça va être Noël là. Ah, il bouge pas en plus. Hein. Bon bah au revoir. Hein.
Oh, damn. Bombing runs, man. They're so powerful.
Remember, you can retreat straight from boot. Oh, look at that. Oh, Jello Man in the window, eh?
And now I am joined by Emily and Marco, and we're going to be talking about some fun stuff today. So let's do some quick introductions. Marco, let's start with you.
Hey everyone, it's nice to be back. I'm Marco, and I'm a game designer on Company of Heroes 3.
And Emily, I'm very, very happy to have you here. Tell us who are you and what do you do on Company of Heroes?
Hi, I'm super happy to be here because we get art people on. I'm Emily. I'm a senior UI artist.
Amazing. So Emily, we didn't have a chance to have you on last time, but I know that you did quite a bit of work on the art improvements that went into Steel Shepherd. So maybe you can take a minute and tell us a little bit about what you worked on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I am super excited that it was really well received. It was something that we were really pumped to send out after we had been working on it for a good long time. I was there from the beginning till the end for Steel Shepherd, of making sure that it was something that would be a really broad and strong improvement overall for Company of Heroes. And we were really excited to sort of reestablish a little bit of the look of Co, and just make it a generally high quality experience that we could be really proud of.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that work really shined through in Steel Shepherd. So, and I know our players were really receptive to a lot of the cool stuff, especially in the menus and just the presentation and the look and feel of Co 3. So, yeah, really, really tremendous work. So let's maybe jump into what we're here to talk about today. Marco, maybe you can kick things off. We're adding something to player profiles. Can you tell us about profile customization?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are finally bringing a way for players to customize their profile appearance. It's going to be, in its first iteration, a pretty lightweight feature. They will be able to access the loadout, and through there, they will be able to change 3 elements of their profile: badges, banners, and titles.
Finally.
So now for people that have pre-ordered the game and so have access to the
That's cool.
Devil's Brigade cosmetics, they can go back to the standard ones, or they can equip those, or they can get maybe new ones.
Okay,
that
very
banner's nice.
So,
I like that.
Maybe we can talk about like some of the
Dive bomb.
maybe the design goals with this new system. What were we trying to do with this type of customization?
So when it comes down to the design goal, we wanted to provide something that was authentic to the player experience, so they would feel still linked to the authenticity of what is Company of Heroes 3. At the same time, we wanted something very immediate that they could equip, check immediately if they like the combination of elements, and then they could just jump into a game. We tried to be not too faction specific. So we do have elements that are, of course, reminders of those factions, but we wanted to make sure that players wouldn't be confused when they wear something that maybe resembles one faction, but then they're playing with another faction. And we gave some very, very nice treatment to all those elements, which actually maybe we could talk about.
No, it's because we want you to be able to talk about the faction that you play the most, but also still keep it broad enough and, let people be able to find themselves on the leaderboard a little bit more clearly, all those kinds of things. Give you a little bit more, sense of customization over how you appear in the game and in the community in general. And a lot of the storytelling that we wanted to do in the art for this was very cinematic. We wanted to make sure that we gave a lot of life to these different faction elements, a little bit of storytelling. And I think it turned out really well in the badges. You can feel that each of them has had sort of a different experience or different things happen to them, as well as being more, diverse in colors and the ways that they show up in our interfaces and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm quite happy with the results. I think people will really enjoy being able to mix and match and choose all kinds of things.
All right, well, let's maybe take a quick look at some of the stuff that players can expect with the first iteration of profile customizations. Let's switch over here. So first up, let's maybe talk.
I'm assuming it's all aesthetic.
So Emily, I'll just kick it back to you. What were some of your considerations when you were working on this feature and some of the individual items here?
For the Vermont tryhards.
So a whole bunch of these. We wanted to make sure that people had sort of a hint of their favorite factions in these, as well as a bit of texture, a bit of, like I was saying before, storytelling to these. We took a lot of stills from our cinematic trailers and stuff like that for the game, because they had such a beautiful representation of historical moments, equipment, all kinds of things. So each one of these has a subtle, unique backing texture, and you also get unique colors and stuff like that, as well as some variations that you'll see in game once they're out.
Awesome. So let's maybe look at some of the badges as well. And Marco, while these are kind of going through here, I'm kind of curious, what are we hoping to capture for players, or what kind of feeling do we want them to walk away with as they get to sort of explore, customizing their profile with these new badges and banners?
So as you can see, we're trying to keep a balance between all the factions. So we know that players might be very attached to a specific faction. So as you can see, we're giving them a little bit of every faction. We kind of explored different themes for them, and this time around for this first drop, we are going with the unit symbols. So they are all getting this super nice treatment that Emily gave them to look very polished and very nice medals. And you have the rifleman, the grenadier, which was the first one, the rifleman, the infantry section, and the bersaglieri. My favorite, and not because I'm Italian, but maybe because I am Italian, is the bersaglieri one, because they are, of course, their hat and their symbol is full of feathers. I really, really love it. But we're also trying to
Vermont is cool too.
This in a way that we were trying to give them symbols and colors that could match with other banners. So you will notice that a lot of these elements will match together very nicely in both the banners and the badges.
Emily, I'm wondering if you maybe talk about your process when you're creating these badges, and maybe what some of the treatments that you gave to them. How did you sort of take them from the symbols in game to the badges?
So a lot of the symbols in this, obviously, they're fabulous. The feathers, they're so much fun. That was something that was absolutely necessary, in my opinion, to get into at least one of our badges at some point. So I'm very happy to see it so early on in the update. A big portion of this, obviously watching, historical footage, looking at historical photos, all those kinds of things. And there's always this challenge of finding the balance of whether or not something is new, freshly printed, like it's just gone out into the field, or if we want it to look more historical, something that we're more accustomed to seeing now. So these badges, I hope, find a middle ground there. Particularly for the rifleman, I wanted to make it feel as though somebody had just put down the badge, and you can still see the subtle marks of their hand and a little bit of moisture on it. For the grenadier, as if it's just gotten a little dented up on the field, the scratches and everything like that, like it just went by. These were a lot of fun, and I hope that that comes across, those textures. And like you said, the fact that we can mix and match them is nice. The
section is totally rusted and worn out.
It means that you can have that extra element of uniqueness, because you can pick favorite units, even if that's not the faction you're playing at that time or whatever it may be. It's a good, solid first.
Grenadier is all scratched up options, because the unit is terrible.
Marco, one of the things that we're not showing here, I'm curious if you can talk about some of the titles that players are going to be able to equip.
Yeah, so when CH3 came out, we did have two of them, the Recruit and the Pioneer, but now we are expanding the system and offering titles that will be part of three separate categories that the players can access to. One is the unit types. So for this release, we are going to have the Rifleman, the Bersaglieri, the British Rifleman, and as units. Then we have the ranks. So for this time, like for 1.5, we are giving out the Private First Class, and then we'll have also some that are more humorous. So for the first one that we are shipping, we are going with the General Errands.
General Errands, I love it. I know. I saw the document where we were workshopping some of the other more humorous ones, and I think players are going to be looking forward to those in the future. Yeah. So one of the other things.
Oh, and I forgot the Grenadier. Yeah. So we'll have like pretty much one for each faction as titles, and then we'll have the banners will be one for allies, one for Axis, and then the badges will be pretty much one for each faction.
I like that they have allies and Axis.
So we're challenging our community to deploy as many units in multiplayer or single player as possible between February 27th and March 5th.
That badge is so nice.
And if the community comes together to accomplish this goal, we're going to be unlocking legendary profile items for all players. But I figured now we may as well show off some of those rewards. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited.
All right. So first up, we have the Frontline banner. Emily, do you want to comment on what we got going on here?
Oh, a little bit of cover. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little peek out. Yeah, this is probably my favorite banner out of a bunch that we have made. I really like this one. I think it has a very cool look.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then we also have our Frontline badge.
Yeah, so inspired by historical photos.
Yeah.
So you guys should get in there, earn it, deploy those units.
And we do have a special title for this one as well. It's going to be Frontline Mobilizer. And if you want to find out more about this challenge and get all the details on what goals you need to hit, you're going to want to go to our social channels to get all the details. As we wrap up here, any sort of final thoughts on profile customization? Marco, I know this is something that you wanted to get into the game for a while. So any final thoughts for our players?
Yeah, so as other features, we are taking this as our first step into getting players' customization into the game. So it will be an iterative process, and we do hope that we'll be able to do more on this in the future. So we'll be looking at you players. If you like the feature, let us know, and especially we'll be looking at how people interact with this.
Emily, what about you? Final thoughts on maybe the process of getting this all into the game and working, or what you're looking forward to seeing from players?
Margot has been an absolute trooper. He loves you guys. He is making sure that you get the very finest for your profile. I can assure you that. And I'm super excited to be able to deliver more for this in the future. I think it has really cool, fun potential that people will really enjoy, and get to engage with, and lots of neat little historical tidbits and fun little titles we can put in there. So yeah, engage with it, have fun.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Marco and Emily, for joining us today. And up next, we're going to be talking to Will about the new maps in our year 1 anniversary update.
Hi.
All right, this should be really exciting to see.
Oh non. Oh non, pas ça. Pas aujourd'hui, pas maintenant, pas après tout ce que tu as fait.
What commando?
Oh, what the?
Damn, dude.
Oh my god.
That was ridiculous.
Oh.
Brutal.
He's got 5 health. 5 health remaining. Oh, it bounced! It bounced on 5 health! You've got to be joking me! And he's suppressed now. Can he get the final shot? He bounced again! Oh my god, the RNG! What is the play doing? What is it doing? Oh my god! The humanity!
Now I'm joined by Monolithic Bacon himself, Will Ward. And that can only mean one thing, Will. I imagine we're here to talk about new maps.
Maps. Yeah, we are.
So Will, I think this is a bit of an exciting update because we have quite a few new maps coming to the game. Can you talk about some of the big picture goals in terms of maps for our year 1 anniversary update?
Yeah, I mean, we've wanted to get as many maps into the game as possible. It's always been a goal of ours. We've had a few things working in the background. For example, community maps have been on the table for a little while now. So that will finally come to fruition in this update.
Okay.
But we're also looking to bolster other map pools, probably our lesser known map pools, like our casual versus AI pool as well.
Okay.
So yeah, we're bringing 7 maps to this update.
7
finally.
across all of our pools.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots to talk about.
Okay, amazing. So let's maybe talk about the ones that you mentioned first, the co-op versus AI maps that we're going to be introducing, or I guess we could call them variants. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So during the winter break, things tend to slow down a little bit because people go on vacations. And it afforded me an opportunity to revisit some of our maps and let's call them casualify them. We have some maps that are quite competitive, some that have a very nice broad layout for flanking gameplay and things like that, but they aren't necessarily conducive of casual gameplay. They're not easy for new players to jump into. And there was an opportunity for us to take 2 of those especially and add more choke points to them, make the territory more friendly, so that players jumping into the game for the first time can get used to how the game works, the mechanics of it, without being overwhelmed by the sheer scale and size of our maps. So,
Do you just want to start taking a quick look at them?
Yeah, let's have a look.
All right, let's
I wonder
check
how
some
many new
footage here.
players are actually doing co-op versus AI.
So first up, Sangro River Crossing.
Yes. So our players may recognize this straight away as Day 101, which has done surprisingly well. Day 101 has climbed up quite neatly into the competitive playlists and is proving itself to be a very, very decent battleground. But it's, at its core, a river map. So in this version, we made it into a nighttime version. We added a layer of destruction across the whole thing, so it looks like this is further into the battle for the Sangro River. And we have deepened the river crossings. So there are now only 2 natural fords that you can cross on the river itself.
Oh, I see.
Rather than the entire span being accessible. And the 2 bridges that are up in the urban area that we're driving through at the moment start already pre-destroyed.
Okay.
So players who jump into this map will only have to worry about 3 crossings to begin with. There's the area near the church at the top of the city. And then there's the 2 natural fords. And as long as they hold those locations and prevent the bridges from being rebuilt, they have a much easier time of playing.
Okay, good to know. So just to clarify, these variants that are coming to co-op versus AI, that doesn't change the existing Day 101 map in Quick Match, right?
No. This is for all intents and purposes a new map. Just using the template of Day 101.
Okay.
So yeah, Day 101 will be completely unaffected. It will still be the map that we released in the last update. But yeah, this is a version that we specifically wanted to be available for skirmish and custom games and versus AI.
Right.
We've also bumped this one up to 6 players because we don't have to worry so much about the space that you have to play in terms of competitive play.
Makes sense.
So yeah, this is going to be more compact with lots of things running around, lots of vehicles driving and bashing through things. Very tight choke points. It's a lot of fun. It's so fun to play this in a nice casual and relaxed way with friends.
Yeah, I also noticed that along the river you've introduced quite a bit more hard cover.
Yes.
For the player. So I imagine you can kind of have those standoffs in the middle of the map.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a map that's begging for artillery emplacements and dug-in weapon teams, MGs firing across a narrow river. It's great.
Okay,
it's cool, man.
Should we jump into the next one here?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I think the next one is also a little familiar to players. So let's check it out.
Yeah, so Seuss Wetlands has also proven itself reasonably well in the competitive audience. It's a very broad and wide 4v4, but it also features some natural choke points with the water. So I did a bit of an experiment to see what it would be like if all of the wetlands were completely flooded.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is exactly the same case.
That's pretty cool.
Only available in skirmish custom games and versus AI, but instead of it being a broad, wide map that you can try to traverse all of the wetlands now are completely flooded and too deep, which means the map is now split into 2. You have the desert village to the south, and then you have the walled city to the north, and you have the causeway that separates the two halves of the map. It's still traversable. It's still got a victory point on it. But that is the only way to get from one side of the map to the other without going all the way back to your base. So you're essentially creating two 2v2 maps that are connected together.
Okay. I also noticed on both of these variants that you've altered the default camera position. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So this is just to help separate them and differentiate them a little bit. When we design our maps, camera angle is actually one of those things that we decide very early. We want to make sure that when we're putting large buildings, like 3-story buildings, into a map, that you can see the most around that building as possible. Changing the camera angle can create blind spots that we never intended. So these new camera angles are a way to hopefully give a different view of the entire map to make it not look exactly the same. Same with doing a different atmosphere. And we've chosen it where it creates as few blind spots as possible.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning as well, on both of these maps, we've adjusted the territory and the victory point layouts to also be more user-friendly.
Okay.
So both Sangro and Seuss Stronghold have got even number of victory points. So the games last longer.
Okay.
You've got more time to settle in or hunker down.
Right.
And just get used to the mechanics of the game.
So you can really have those slugfests on both of these maps. Okay, cool. Before we start talking about some of the more competitive maps, some of the community-made maps that we're going to be integrating into Quick Match and the overall map pool for Co3, because I know this is obviously something that we've wanted to do for a long time. So I'm curious, Will, if you could maybe talk about a little bit about what that process looked like and the work that it took to get us to the point where we could bring in some of these new maps.
Yeah, of course. So as you mentioned, community maps are something we've wanted to do for a long time. We gave out the map making software, the Essence Engine, at the launch of the game because we hoped that people would immediately pick it up. The process for taking community maps and integrating them isn't as simple as it probably ought to be. But what we wanted to do while we were integrating community maps is give them the justice that they need, give them the legs so that they can stay in the game and remain there indefinitely, ideally. What we don't want to do is integrate a map and then 3 months later have to pull it because it has issues. So in working with our community mappers, our first round of community mappers, we've encouraged them to make as many of the changes as they wanted to do, things they didn't necessarily have the time to do when they first released them. We've also given them a round of feedback or two. We've done internal playtests on the maps to make sure that they are up to our standards as much as possible. And then once we get the files from our community mappers and they are all happy with being hands-off, we then take those maps through our own final V3 process. So a V3 process would include a pathfinding pass. It would include checking all the assets are viz where appropriate, making sure we've got blockers. We would get our artists to give them a new atmosphere to make them stand out and bring them up to the same visual standards that we have on our own maps. And I will build them a custom minimap in the same way that our new minimap style has taken. So it's a little bit more of a long-winded process. It's not as easy as looking at something in the workshop and going, I like that, let's take that.
Right.
It's been lovely to work with our community mappers in particular. They've all been very receptive of this process so far. And it's great to work with them personally. A lot of folks, when I was a community mapper that I would work alongside, or some that I've never even had a conversation with, but I know of their work. So it's great to finally show off their stuff and work with them properly.
Okay, that's great to hear. So let's maybe queue up the first one here, and I think it's going to be a little bit familiar for fans of the franchise.
So for the remainder of the maps here, the remaining 5 that we have to talk about, you're going to notice a theme with it being the anniversary. We have specifically chosen to go for classic maps.
Right.
We wanted to dig back into the roots of Co1 and Co2 and bring about a new slew of
I like that.
the maps that we're most familiar with. So it was a great pleasure to bring back Famenville from Co2. This is the work of AE and K-Pen.
Great map.
They have lovingly restored this version of Famenville. It is just as beautiful, just as vibrant and sunny. And it's been rebalanced for the Master League, so it's had plenty of playtesting on it already. This was very much an easy win for us. It only needed very, very few things changing, and like I said, atmosphere updating and minimap adding. But yeah, this was an absolute beauty to work on.
Yeah, and I had a excerpt here from KPen themselves that I figured I'd read out. So KPen said, AE first approached me to recreate Co2's Faymonville for the Co3 Master League. AE and I had previously revamped the Co2 version of Faymonville based on player feedback. My goal for the Co3 version was to add the Italian countryside theme while preserving Faymonville's essence, while also aiming to meet the standards of Relic's official maps. Working with Will, we combed through the map for errors and visual optimizations. This was an enriching experience, as I feel we learned new things from one another. I hope both old and new players alike will enjoy Faymonville in Co3. Any other thoughts on the work that you did here to bring Faymonville into the game, Will?
Only that it was an absolute pleasure to work with the guys. KPen especially is very much an artist. He has an eye for detail, and I'm sure you'll see that when you get to play the map for yourselves.
Looks beautiful, man.
It'd be great to
Great work
again in the future.
Excited to see this in competitive play.
Let's queue up the next one here. Again, I think this one will be a little bit familiar, so let's dive in.
Yeah, so we're also bringing back Steps. For those of you who are all too familiar with the 4v4 crowd in Co2,
yes,
this was one of the entrants into the Grey Shot 4v4 map competition. As soon as I saw it, I knew straight away that we had something wonderful on our hands here. It needed a little bit of balancing and tweaking to bring it up to snuff, but this map is an absolute visual treat. This map was done by Sphinx, who is a guy I've known for a long time. And it was wonderful to see him come over to Co3 and start making maps for us there.
Yeah. So about this map, Sphinx says, my thanks go out to Will and everyone from Relic for giving me the ability to start working on a map even before the release of Co3 last year. The goal of the map step was to get in touch with the new editor and to learn. That's why I chose a remake, to focus on learning the editor without worrying about the map design or layout. Step is loved and hated at the same time in the Co2 community. But I like the online matches on this map and thought because of the open spaces, it could be converted into a fitting North Africa scenario.
Very cool.
That is exactly it. And we will expect all 4v4 maps to be contentious. Usually the losing team isn't as happy as the winners. But this, yeah, he's absolutely right. This map made a wonderful North Africa conversion. It feels so vast and sweeping. It was always going to be a perfect fit.
Makes sense, man.
I really love what Sphinx was able to do here, and the work that you two obviously did to bring it into the game. It is like this wide expanse, and I can just envision lots of huge vehicle battles on this, and with tons of wreckage and craters. So looking forward to seeing matches on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it for the inclusion of player-made maps in this update, Will. But let's maybe jump into some of the reworks or remakes, I guess, that you worked on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I loved this map,
we wanted to include the classic maps from the very beginning. You always start with what you know. But the opportunity afforded itself, especially towards the winter break. We had an extra artist on hand and thought, when it comes down to classic maps, it is less design work because the map has already been designed, but it is more artwork because they need starting essentially from scratch in terms of visuals.
Dude, the nostalgia of this map is so high for me.
To work on some of the most popular, some of our favorite maps, and naturally, Semoir came straight to the top.
Classic.
This is an absolute Co1 classic. It is so renowned for being absolute 1v1 slugfest.
I liked it 2v2 as well.
To bring in that idyllic, beautiful Italian visual that we expect. We've made some tweaks to it. We've had Marco and Miguel playing this one extensively and bringing in some tweaks. So, for example, right here we have a couple of extra river crossings to help avoid the famous Semoir pin, which was pretty notorious. But other than that, the map is essentially unchanged. We've tried to keep the cover, even the buildings and their placements as similar as we possibly could.
Looks fantastic. Fits well with the Italian theme.
It's worked out a treat. It's been lovely.
Yeah. So I know you said with classic maps. We don't necessarily have to do the design work again. However, just for clarity, I imagine it's not the type of thing where you can just port the map files from Co 2 to Co 3.
No, unfortunately not. That was actually the case with Co 1 to Co 2. You could literally grab the same map files, and there'll be assets missing, but yeah, it was much easier. With Co 3, because it's a completely different engine, we have to do still like start at the very beginning.
Right.
What we can do, however, and this is kind of a recommendation for anyone who wants to try this themselves, you can export height maps from Co 1 and Co 2's editors. The height map is just the terrain layout. So if you export that like for like, and you import it into Co 3, it gives you a very good idea of where all the roads and ditches and rivers are on your maps. And then what we would do is grab the old top-down mini-maps from Co 1 and Co 2, the versions that didn't have art all over them, the ones that the editor made. We turned them into splats, converted them into a splat file, and then just laid it over the top of the height map until everything lined up. And then we essentially have a top-down view of where everything should be.
It makes
so
sense.
We still have to go in and put all the buildings and walls and assets and do everything that we would normally have to do, but we don't have to worry so much about the territory layout because the Co 1 version had a very similar layout to what this one does. So it saves a phenomenal amount of time, and it gives us an excuse to bring back these favorites from our
Get the med station on that
any final
manpower
thoughts on
strategic
Semwalk
point.
before we move on?
Classic.
I mean,
man.
I can't
I
wait
love
to
this
see
map.
some of the games on this one. It's
Yeah.
such a famous map. It's going to be great to see our players in Co 3 sink their teeth into it, and to see new players who weren't around for Co 1 try this for the first time.
All right. Next up, another fan favorite.
Yes. So there's definitely a little bit of favoritism in this one because Elst from Co 2 was my map. This was a map that I wanted to bring into Co 3 but never had the opportunity to because I'm too busy working on new maps. Elst has a special place in my heart, and I wanted every excuse I could get to bring it back. This is a map that's actually based on where I grew up, which is post-industrial Britain. I can smell this map. It just brings back that little memory. It smells of plaster and brick dust and overgrown forests, and that is exactly what we've gone for. We've converted Elst from this forest and farmlands into an overgrown industrial complex, like a logging complex that's just been left to time. And it's been beautifully done. Like we had both of our artists touch this at one point or another. It's been so lovingly recreated. I'm so happy with it. But we have the bombed out west, as you can see, as driving through here, and it's starkly contrasted with this old industrial east that's being slowly rebuilt. We've added some new twists to it. The territory layout is naturally different because this was a Co 2 map, and Co 2 and Co 3 have very different territory systems.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to players trying this one out and seeing how it fares in comparison.
Okay.
I've had great fun making it.
And I can't stress enough how important maps are. Like this is really going to improve the game and the experience overall
least,
for players.
We have our 3v3.
Yes. So 3v3 is a bit of an odd one. 3v3 is definitely the unloved stepchild. And
I feel like that's true.
I don't think it's fair that it gets treated the way it does because it has some of my favorite maps in it, especially in Co 1. The 3v3 map pool was phenomenal. So when I asked the design team what their favorite 3v3s were, Monthermé went straight to the top.
Yeah.
It is unique, even if it isn't necessarily the most.
I don't remember this map.
Map. I suppose it is balanced because it's mirrored. It's quite laney, but it is so unique in how it plays. There is no other map like it. Yeah. For players who aren't familiar with Monthermé from Co 1, you have this area that we're looking at the moment, which is the south of the river. It's quite a narrow corridor of land where you essentially have two players facing off against each other. But then across the river, you have the rest of the town, the rest of this vast industrial complex up on the hill where the remaining four players are battling it out. And you have the choice. Do you either take control of this upper town and neglect the south, or do you divert your resources and help out your teammate on the other side of the river?
Oh, I see.
Losing the town. in return.
So the spawns are broken up.
It's always been
2v2
so
up top,
fun to play.
1v1
Some
down
of
in
my
the bottom.
favorite matches were streamed on this map. And yeah, this was an absolute joy. Mark really took his time on this one to bring back all the visuals, because this hasn't been seen in KO2. I made a workshop version in KO2, but officially this map was never brought back. So we haven't really seen a polished version of it since KO1, and he's done amazing work on it. It looks astounding.
Yeah, the look and feel of it, I found, because I hadn't played on this map before, I found it to be really, really exciting and just really, like you said, just like different from everything else that we have.
I don't remember it, man. I got to see a better
again, I'm excited
view
to
of
see
it.
the matches that sort of unfold on this, and to see what players think.
And it's worth adding, like, our justification for choosing maps like this, not that we need one, is we don't want our map pool to feel the same. We don't want every single map that we release to play the exact same way. We know that over time, when we integrate community maps, that will happen naturally anyway. We'll start getting more and more maps that feel similar to each other. Our intention is not to have a boring map pool. We want you to have to change the way that you play. We want you to be excited when something different comes up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maps like this really do shake up the formula of how you play. It's going to be great.
Maps are the lifeblood of RTS, man.
So I think that's going to be it for our quick look here, Will. But that's really exciting. So we've got 7 maps coming in our year 1 anniversary update. We have 2 variants for co-op versus AI, and we have 5 maps, 5 classic maps coming to Quick Match. All 7 of those, of course, available in Skirmish and Custom Game. And a huge thank you to KPen AE and Sphinx for the inclusion of the 2 maps that they all worked on. Will, final thoughts on the work that went into getting these maps into this update?
I mean, as always, I cannot wait to see people play these. It's going to be great. I'll be watching streams on day 1 as soon as it happens. No doubt gathering feedback. But yeah, I can't wait. I hope you folks enjoy this. This has been a real labor of love.
Amazing. So thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
Will.
Will.
And let's head to the next segment. As we wrap up, don't forget that the year 1 anniversary update will be releasing on February 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific time on PC. And an hour before that, we'll be sitting down with our Balance team on Twitch to discuss the patch notes and multiplayer changes coming in the update.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. I'm really looking forward to the balance discussion next week. I think it's going to be a pretty big balance pass compared to what we've seen in the past. At least that's what I'm hoping and expecting. So look forward to that on the channel. And overall, really happy about 5 new maps. I'm happy with the decision of going for classic maps for the anniversary update. I think it's a really cool throwback to the franchise history. Some great maps coming into the game, which will really bring a breath of fresh air. And I do like the first iteration of profile customization. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you on the next one.